Wait, Pixar has released 3 movies in theaters this year so far? Or am I on something? Well, if you guys aren't aware, Pixar has released all of their recent movies that made it straight to Disney Plus that were meant for a theatrical release, made it to theaters for the first time ever. And I have seen all of them in theaters. Before you go down in the comments section and tell me, the films are on Disney Plus, the movies are on there, with that I say no. Because I have seen every Pixar film in theaters since the 2010s. And I grew up with this studio, and it wouldn't be fair if I missed one movie. So I'm gonna tell you my thoughts and also review these movies in general. So like, subscribe, and let me tell you a bit of backstory on how all of this started. Back in 2020, when the whole world went into a coma, a lot of stuff including concerts, events, and other things that people like to do in their daily life had either got cancelled or were just delayed until further notice. Well, one of those things that people like to enjoy, including me, was cinema and movies. Yep, a lot of movies that were meant to get a theatrical release either got delayed or just went to streaming. Well, this includes Pixar films. The first Pixar film that was meant to be released in theaters in the summer of 2020 was Pixar's Soul. During that time, I was really looking forward to seeing Pete Docter's next directorial debut in theaters, but after the delay, it was announced that it was going to be released on Disney Plus later that year. I was a little upset, but hey, at least we're gonna have the movie, just not in theaters. Then after Pixar's Soul was released on Christmas of 2020, I figured Pixar's next film would release in theaters this time, but then Pixar's next film, Luca, got the same treatment. It went straight to Disney Plus in the summer of 2021. Okay, not a big deal. But maybe their next film can finally have a theatrical release. For sure this time. Yeah, don't even get me started about Lightyear being the first Pixar film to have a theatrical release in theaters since Onward. Which I also didn't see in theaters because, the movie came out around when the whole pandemic started. Anyways, I'm still happy to have these Pixar films to be released so people can see them. But I was just a little disappointed that these films didn't have a chance to make it to the big screen. Or so we thought. Back in December of 2023, I think, Pixar announced that they will be releasing Soul, Luca, and Turning Red in theaters for the first time ever. I was very surprised with this, and I couldn't be more happier that these films were finally getting the theater treatment that they deserved. Well, I've seen all of their movies in theaters. So, was it worth seeing in theaters on the big screen for the first time? Well, to me overall, seeing these films in theaters for the first time kind of felt a bit refreshing, but I also wouldn't say that it was a bit unnecessary because these films has been on Disney Plus for a while. So, what was the point of having these movies being released in theaters? I don't know, don't think about it too much. At least they finally have their theatrical release. I was just happy that they had their chance. Or maybe it was just to hype people up for Inside Out 2 coming this summer. I mean, that's what I keep thinking on why they did that whole theatrical release thing. Unless you guys have a different response, then let me know in the comments. Alright, so I'm gonna do a quick review on all 3 of these movies, because I honestly don't really have too much to say about this. So let's just get into it. Starting with Soul, the first one that was released. Originally released back in 2020, this film is probably one of Pixar's best films that I've seen since Coco. The story is so meaningful with the message, the animation and the visuals are so beautiful, and probably the best looking Pixar film that I've seen. I really like this soul world and the concept is really creative and satisfying to look at. The themes in this film about the meaning of life is probably one of the most realistic themes that I've probably seen in any movie, to be honest. Take advantage of the little things in life, it's worth living. Especially with the scene with Joe Gardner playing the piano, that moment he realized that he's living his life not realizing how beautiful it is. God, the message is just so powerful. Pete Docter, how do you keep making good movies? Oh yeah, the whole switching body parts was unexpected the first time I watched it, but it was still a fun watch that fits with the themes and the message of the movie. So yeah, I really like Soul. I give it a 9 out of 10. The next one released during its theatrical run is Turning Red. And just a side note here, kinda wish they would have released these in its original release date order. Like, Luca came out first right after Soul was released. Yeah, just wanted to point that out, that kinda bugged me a bit. Also, fun fact, I was originally going to review this back when I created this channel, and the same time when the movie came out, back in 2022, but I never really got around to finish it, but I'm finally going to review it. So yeah, Turning Red is a weird but fun movie. I remember back when this movie was released, there was some controversy about the designs or something like that. I don't remember what they were complaining about, it was like 2 years ago. But anyways, I had fun watching this one. It's not one of Pixar's best films in my opinion, but it's just overall a fun time with your family. But I think the humor were a bit questionable, but I still think some of it is still pretty funny to me. The soundtrack still slaps, especially the song from that boy band group in the movie. I actually think it's interesting about the main character May with her transformation with the red panda and how it works to be able to control it. I really enjoyed that stuff. May's relationship with her friends and family are pretty fun to watch. The final act is pretty cool and wholesome, and throughout the whole time I was really vibing it. But I think the themes of this film didn't really work for me the whole time. I don't know if it's because this came out around the time when Encanto came out, and they both have a similar theme to it, so something about it just didn't really feel right to me. But despite that, it's still a fun movie that I would recommend, 8 out of 10. Our final film on the list is Pixar's Luca. Now this was the last Pixar film that I remember being really excited for back when it released in 2021. I guess I really liked the concept of two boys being transformed into sea monsters. And they have a new style that Pixar never had. So that is something for me that I got excited for, I guess. But yeah, Luca is overall a fun and cute movie. The story in this one is really simple, but in a way that's good for people to enjoy. I really like the relationship with Luca, Alberto, and this girl Julia. They all have really good chemistry together and it made it fun to watch. I really like that Luca and Alberto just want to get this Vespa just so they can travel the world together. It's just really sweet and I love it. But then the story took a bit of a turn after Luca starts hanging out with Julia more, and Alberto getting jealous of her, and Luca wants to go to school with her. It's just a very simple plot device and I was really invested in it. The animation in this is so stylized and like I said, it was a new style of animation that Pixar had. It looks like Pixar is using that style in some of their new films. Please be good. So yeah, I really like Luca. It's a cute and fun film that is easy to enjoy, 8 out of 10. Well, that's all of the movies. I'm happy that these films had a chance to be shown in theaters for the first time, and they were a really fun experience. So with that, I'm really looking forward to Inside Out 2. So what do you guys think? Are you guys happy with these releases? And did you have the chance to see all of these films in theaters? Let me know in the comments, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.